Hi, I'm Braden Booth from the Fairgrove FFA chapter. Most people have a quote that they live by, something that drives them, inspires them, gives them the will to keep going when things get rough. Often this is a quote from a famous person, such as a world leader or an athlete, but my quote is from someone much closer, my dad. What he said was not meant to be inspiring or even that memorable, but it stuck with me for the 6 years since I heard it for the first time. In a muddy field at the Saddle Club, wearing rubber boots and a minor sunburn, I heard the quote that would change my life. Hold on. The Merriam-Webster definition of tenacity is the quality or fact of being able to grip something firmly. This says very little about the true nature of holding on, how someone can hold on through pain and extreme adversity. When my dad said these words, he meant them literally. But as I've grown, I've started to realize that holding on has applications far from the show ring I was about to walk into. I was holding a leather band, the other end of which was connected to a halter that was worn by a 900-pound Charolais heifer, named Josie. That sentence could use some explaining, so allow me to start now. I show cattle. Cattle showing is a pastime in which you train a calf to walk on a halter, let you bathe it, and ultimately cooperate with you. You may ask why. Why spend 3 hours a day, year-round, working with an animal that many people consider to be nothing more than a steak? There's lots of reasons. I did it because it sounded fun and I had cows. I thought, hey, I can spend a few hours working on calves, make some money, and quit when I get bored. That was 6 years, 10 heifers, and 2 bulls ago. I guess you could say I'm hooked. Now I have different reasons. I made friends, built a reputation, and put countless hours into this hobby. There's nothing left to do now but hold on. In case the quote still doesn't make sense, allow me to explain one more aspect of cow showing. Some calves are cooperative, some aren't. That may not seem like a big deal, but when you're connected to a 1,200-pound animal with a mind of its own who decides it doesn't want to listen to you, it's a big deal. Depending on the calf, it could do one of a few things. It could start running at full tilt and try to get away from you. It could try to hurt you, or it could try to fight with a different calf who's most likely being shown by someone else. All of these events result in one thing: a train wreck. You put 10 cows in a ring and one of them goes crazy, someone's going to have a bad day. I try to avoid this by only showing animals I trust. But even the best mannered animals can get spooked. And just because your calf acts well, doesn't mean everyone else's will. Sometimes a calf with a bad attitude makes it to the show solely because it looks good. Cow showing has changed me a lot, and hold on is at the center of those changes. Hold on may seem like an unimportant, even trivial example when used in cow showing, but the philosophy of hold on has benefited people in endeavors far from the show ring. Louis Zamperini was a bombardier whose plane was shot down over the Pacific Ocean. Of the 11 men on the plane, the only survivors were Zamperini himself, Francis, McNamara, and Russell Phillips. But surviving the crash was just the beginning. The men soon ran out of drinkable water and food. After 33 days of scorching sun, angry sharks, and flybys by Japanese fighters, Mac let go. He died from a combination of starvation, dehydration, and sun exposure. After 47 days at sea, Zamperini and Phillips were picked up by a Japanese plane. But they were far from rescued. The Japanese nursed them back to health before placing them both in one of the many notoriously cruel Japanese prisoner of war camps. Over 1/3 of all Japanese prisoners of war died while in captivity, and Zamperini was treated worse than most. Zamperini competed in the 1936 Olympics in Berlin as a runner and gained international fame. He was separated from Phillips, beaten relentlessly, forced to shovel coal in frigid temperatures. He eventually developed beriberi, a deadly vitamin deficiency brought on by malnutrition. But Zamperini held on, and at 2 years after his plane crash, he was officially released. He had been declared dead. His family had been given his Purple Heart posthumously. He held on through more than most of us will ever have to endure. Zamperini is only one example of someone who succeeded because they held on where others couldn't or simply refused to. Walt Disney, Albert Einstein, and even Colonel Sanders are perfect illustrations of what holding on can lead to. Without people like them, people with drive, with determination, with tenacity, we would not be capable of many of the things that have been brought to us through the perseverance of past generations. So, to end my speech, I'd like to make a request. Of you, of me, of everyone. The vast majority of people strive for mediocrity. but they miss the entire point of holding on. Many people hold on to what they have, while a select few understand the only way to triumph is to hold on to what we have not yet achieved. When my dad said these words, he didn't think they would change my life, but they did all the same, and they can change anyone's. No matter what you do in life, remember that while you can let go, let the calf get away from you, you can also hold on to excellence, to perfection, to greatness. And that is something worth holding on to. Thank you.